Hello and welcome to my blog. Today we're going to talk about a lesson in wisdom from a high spirit. A group of spirits came to a well-known wise high spirit. He was a diplomat in his earth life, asking advice on how to solve a problem. Whereupon he led them on a tour of the gardens. With airy conversation, he described the scenery around them until they crossed a small stream and entered a small Egyptian temple. He instructed the small coterie to sit on benches, carved on the floor beneath their feet, and in the middle of the room was an intricate map, full of lines and symbols. He then said to them, "Now this is a plan of my house and these grounds through which I have led you. Here is marked this little place in which we sit. We have come, as you will see, a considerable distance from the gate where I met you, and you were all talking so much of the pretty things as you saw as you came that not one of you gave heed to the direction in which you came. It will be good practice, therefore, and not altogether lacking in pleasure, for you to find your way back again to me, and when you arrive I shall perhaps be able to give you some help by way of instruction on the difficulties you have stated to me." Now Val Owen's mother tells us that when he left, a group looked at each other, and all laughed at their combined foolishness. No one had a clue why he had taken them on such a random route through the gardens. Further proof that when we pass over to the less dense life, we are the same obtuse souls who miss most of the events swirling around us. Oblivious to all except what we focus on as we travel through our daily routine, thankfully, our sense of self-depreciating humor survives the separation of the spirit from the physical body. The group inspected the map. It was full of lines and intersections. They weren't sure what line led to where. They did see the entire estate was enclosed by a large circular path. They determined if they walked continually outwards, they would meet the circular path. From there they could arrive at their destination by walking along the outer footpath until they encountered the gate where the principal waited for the group. The five took off and journeyed a considerable distance. They knew they weren't able to pick the most efficient route, but they did gain their destination. The principal congratulated them on their achievement and proceeded to appraise them of the lesson they acquired. This is what he said. "First of all, the thing is to make sure of the direction you wish to go, and then the next thing is to take, not the path which seems the shortest, but the one which seems surest to lead you right in the end. That path will not always be the quickest, and may lead you to the borderland where infinity shades off from the realm you know. Still, beyond the borderline, you are the better able to see both the extent and also the limitation of the estate you are negotiating. And it is only a matter of steadfastness and patience, and the goal you desire is quite sure to be won." With his explanation, one can detect how the spirit world constructs the plans for our lives. We are not built and trained as if we came off an assembly line. Each of us is crafted with love and care. Our ascent to become a pure spirit is not a straight line, but a complex and spiraling marathon, where we test and enlarge our personal boundaries. Next, he expounds upon the importance of analyzing the whole unit. Also, from just beyond the boundary between the local and the infinite, you are able to see that, although it contains within itself paths, winding and many, and valleys and groves from which you cannot see very far away, yet that, as viewed as a whole, it is perfectly symmetrical. A true circle, in fact, which for all the seeming maze and medley within, yet as a circle contains within itself a perfect geometrical entity, simple in itself and considered as a unit from the larger, wider point of view, perplexing when passing through its paths inside the boundary line. Only by stepping out of the problem one can grasp it and place it in the correct context. Plus, by identifying the object, the principles of its operation and the scope of its reach may be deduced. The wise spirit explains what this means. He further says, "Also you noted that, as you followed the curve on its outer side, you were able only to see a little portion of it at one time. Still, knowing that, from its shape, it would lead you to the place you sought, You were content to follow on in faith based on reasoned conclusions. And true enough, here you are, and prove by your presence that your reasoning was, at least in the main, sound. So what did he tell us? He told us that understanding the whole allows certainty when analyzing the parts. This is how we are looked upon by our spirit benefactors. They know us. They know where we are going, where we have been, and they peer into our strengths and weaknesses to place the next level of achievement or to remove a self-inflicted blemish, all built to propel us to perfection, each in our own little way. The goal of the spirit realm is to lead us to love, a love guided by wisdom. Wisdom is only accumulated by a series of incidents and hard knocks, coupled with our capacity to learn from the skirmishes we must live through in life after life. Hence, our need to not only be born one time in a physical body, where we are the most vulnerable to emotion and pain, but to come back time after time until the lesson sinks in. Love and wisdom are what made possible the plan for our lives on earth. Higher spirits, well grounded in knowledge and fraternity, for all help fashion our destinies. Someday, when we have accumulated enough acumen, we too shall play an integral part in people's lives. If you'd like to learn more about a spirit and the spirit attributes, please read my book, Spirits and the Spirit Universe. It will tell you what awaits you when you leave this life and when you go to one of the levels of heaven and become a spirit. And that way you will know your true power and your true potential. God bless.